11/16/2025, 10:04 p.m. My name is Emily, and when I was 16, everything in my life changed. It happened the day my mother told me she had to travel abroad for medical treatment and wouldn't be back for at least 3 months. She didn't want me to stay alone, so she arranged for me to live with her sister, my Aunt Rose. At first, I thought it would be fine. My aunt always acted sweet during family gatherings, but the moment my mom left, her true colors appeared. The very first morning, at 6 a.m., she banged on my door and shouted, "Get up! Breakfast isn't going to cook itself!" I sat up, confused. I thought we would cook together." She rolled her eyes. "No, you will do the cooking while you're here, and the cleaning. You're young. You should contribute." That word, contribute, became her favorite weapon. Every day, I cooked breakfast for her, my uncle, and their daughter, Lily. After that, I washed dishes, vacuumed the whole house, did laundry, ironed clothes, and cleaned the bathrooms. Meanwhile, Lily, who was just a year older than me, sat on the couch scrolling her phone like a queen. When I asked why she didn't have chores, Aunt Rose said, "Lily focuses on her studies. You should try being useful instead." It didn't matter that I was also a student. The worst part was that she took my phone for bonding reasons, so I had no way to talk to my mom without her listening. One afternoon, after I finished cleaning, I overheard her talking on the phone. "Honestly," she said, "having Emily here is a blessing. I basically have a free maid." A maid. That's all I was to her. Weeks passed. I became exhausted mentally and physically. I barely slept. My grades dropped. I felt like a ghost. Everything changed one Friday night. I was cleaning the living room when I found a small envelope hidden under the couch. Inside were hospital documents, unpaid medical bills, thousands of dollars, all under my aunt's name. Suddenly, everything made sense. Her bragging online about luxury shopping, her spa visits, her renovation plans, all lies. She was drowning in debt, and she needed a free worker to save money. I knew what I had to do. The next morning, I acted normal, but inside, I was planning. On Sunday, my mom called. My aunt stood right next to me, listening closely. "How are you, sweetheart?" my mom asked. I took a deep breath. "Mom, Aunt Rose has been making me work like her maid, every day. She took my phone and she's hiding thousands of dollars of unpaid hospital bills." "That's not true!" my aunt screamed and grabbed the phone. But she was too late. My uncle heard everything. My mom demanded to speak to him. Within minutes, the house exploded into chaos. My uncle confronted her. The debts were real, the lies were real, and for the first time, my aunt was speechless. Mom arranged for me to be picked up immediately and warned them that if anything else happened, she would report everything. As I packed my bags, my aunt whispered angrily, "You ruined everything." I looked straight at her and said, "No, you ruined everything." When I finally got home, my mom hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. She apologized for trusting her sister too much. I told her it wasn't her fault. Some people hide their cruelty well. A month later, I heard the best news ever. My uncle made my aunt get a second job to pay off the debts, and she now had to do all the cleaning herself. No maid, no free labor, no fake lifestyle. Just consequences. And when Lily texted me complaining she had to clean her room for the first time in her life, I couldn't help but smile. In the end, karma didn't just visit their house. It moved in. 11/16/2025, 10:06 p.m. After I left my aunt's house, I honestly thought that chapter of my life was finally closed. But I was wrong, because Aunt Rose wasn't the type to accept consequences quietly. 2 weeks after I returned home, strange things began happening at school. Teachers started asking weird questions. One said, "Emily, your aunt told us you've been skipping classes for months. Is everything okay?" I froze. Skip class? Me? My aunt actually called my school pretending to be concerned, telling them I had behavioral issues, that I was disrespectful, lazy, unmotivated. She was trying to ruin my academic record. When I confronted her over the phone, she simply said, "You embarrassed me in front of my husband. You deserve this." I hung up without saying a word. This time, I wasn't going to let her win. A few days later, my mom received a letter supposedly from a lawyer. Inside was a ridiculous accusation that I had stolen valuables from my aunt's home before leaving. Jewelry, cash, electronics, all lies. My aunt was trying to frame me. My mom looked at the papers, then at me, and said calmly, "She's desperate. Don't worry, we'll handle this properly." We contacted the number on the letter, and guess what? The lawyer was just a friend of my aunt pretending to be professional. No license, no office, nothing. That lie collapsed instantly. But she still wasn't done. One evening, I got a message from Lily, her daughter. "Hey, Mom wants you to apologize. She says if you don't fix this, she'll post things online about you." I replied, "She already lied about me. What else could she possibly do?" She hesitated, then admitted, "She's planning to post edited screenshots to make you look like a bully." That was the moment I realized. My aunt didn't want justice. She wanted revenge, and she was willing to destroy a teenager's life just to protect her own pride. I knew I needed help, but not the usual kind. I contacted my uncle. At first, he didn't respond, but after a few hours he called back and said quietly, "I'm sorry for everything. I didn't see what was happening. What do you need to show me?" I told him everything his wife was doing. The school lies, the fake lawyer letter, the plan to forge messages. He didn't speak for several seconds. Then he exhaled deeply. "Emily, I think it's time I tell you something." He revealed that he and Aunt Rose had been fighting constantly since the truth came out. She blamed everyone but herself. She refused therapy, she refused responsibility, and she refused to stop spending money. "She's not the person I married," he said. "I'm trying to protect Lily, but I can't control Rose anymore." Then he said the words that shocked me. "If she contacts you again, record everything. I will take care of the rest." And it didn't take long for her next attack. The very next morning, my aunt called from a different number. She didn't say hello. She just started screaming. "You think you can ruin my life and walk away? You're gonna pay for this." I quietly recorded the entire call. At one point, she even admitted, "I told your school you were skipping classes because I wanted them to kick you out." That was all I needed. I sent the recording to my uncle. Within an hour, he responded, "Thank you. This is the last time she will bother you." I didn't know what he meant until the next day. My aunt tried calling again, but this time the number was disconnected. Then my cousin Lily sent a long message. "Mom is staying with her sister for now. Dad took her phone and banned her from contacting you. He said if she tries anything again, he'll file for separation." I read it twice. My aunt wasn't allowed to contact me. She finally faced consequences she couldn't escape. Lily added, "I'm sorry about everything. I didn't know how bad it was. I hope one day we can be cousins again." For the first time in months, I felt relief. Real, heavy, overwhelming relief. My aunt's revenge had backfired completely. Instead of ruining my life, she destroyed her own marriage, her own image, and her own control. All because she couldn't accept that she had been wrong. Months passed, and peace slowly returned to my life. My grades improved, my mom got better. I even made new friends. One day, I looked back at everything that happened, the lies, the manipulation, the emotional abuse, and realized something important. Toxic people don't need your hatred. They collapse under the weight of their own actions. All you have to do is step out of their shadow. And that's exactly what I did.